One thing that me and John didn't really get a chance to talk about, but I feel like maybe we're going to be on the same wavelength here, is the
Hmm.
NFL is having an active conversation or planning to have an active conversation about eliminating the hip drop tackle. Now, I've seen a couple of tweets from NFL players or former NFL players saying nobody has ever called it a hip drop tackle. Um, And I think this is one of the stupidest things, again, that the NFL is choosing to do. Uh, I'm not even kidding when I say this. 10 years ago, John, saying football is going to turn to flag football was a joke, right? We would joke about it. At 2023, it's really not a joke anymore. If we look at it's starting to become like we're eventually, I don't know, maybe in 20 or 30 or 40 years, this might just be flag football. It might. And I'm getting tired of it because these players know what they signed up for. They know the risk, but it's about the reward too. They know the risk is worth the reward in their opinion. So I hate this. I hate this for defenders, man. I was thinking about this last night. When you walk onto a field or a court, John, as a defender, you instantly, once you step foot on that field or court, you're instantly at a disadvantage, no?
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're reacting to what the offensive player is doing. So you're instantly at a disadvantage, no matter what. Now, the NFL and even the NBA too, but we'll cover the NFL right now. I mean, you could tap the quarterback in the head and that's 15 yards. It's ridiculous. It's become ridiculous. And I tweeted this, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm saying this is something to think about. Has anybody ever thought that with all these rule changes and how much you're making defenders think before they react and before they tackle, that maybe, just maybe, that all these rule changes are leading to more injuries? Just maybe. I'm not saying make the game, not, don't make the game safer. I'm all for player safety. I want these players to be the safest and healthiest that they can be. But I'm just saying, you make these defenders think just a little bit too much. So now, as a defender, I got to tackle you as my job, right? I have to stop you if you have the ball. But now I also have to think about your safety. What about my safety? Am I protected at all? I I hate this. I feel like can we throw the defenders a bone? Can we throw the defenders a bone?
Yeah.
Help
I
them
agree.
out, man, because this is ridiculous, man.
It's one thing to protect players above the neck, and I think that's right, but how are you supposed to tackle from behind if you can't drop your weight? And we see this because of the Tony Pollard injury and the
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes ankle injury. The
And I think
Pollard injury,
was it Dak too, or was that a little different?
I'm not quite sure, Dak.
I'm forgetting the Dak injury
With
too.
Pollard, it was a really rough play. I mean,
Yes.
Jimmy Ward drops his weight around his ankle. That was a gruesome injury, but just because of that does not mean we should be literally taking away from defenders the right to tackle from behind virtually.
Mhm.
There's so many different plays in football that don't look pretty, but football is not supposed to be a pretty game. It's supposed to lead to injuries because you've got grown men dropping their body weight on each other. Some are 300 pounds, some are 350, some are 200. So when you're a running back, when you're a receiver getting hit 10 to 15 times per game, you've understood your entire life injury is massive risk. For defenders to take away literally the right to tackle somebody from behind, because that is what the hip drop is. It's when you basically drop your weight in somebody or try and bring them down. I mean, you can't literally take everything away from these guys because offenses are at such a supremely all-time advantage that if you make it even harder, you throw a ball into the offense now, another one. At what point does defense become irrelevant and then the games aren't even that interesting? Like, you don't want so much offense to the point where it's a flag football
You
game
don't
like
want a
this.
college football. You don't want college football.
You don't. You want to see defenses, make it more compelling. If defenses can't play physical and they have to think and basically consider the way they're gonna hit you
Yep.
before they actually go out to try to make the play, it's gonna get more dangerous.
Yep.
So I disagree with this. I think they're just having the discussion. I highly doubt a rule is made because if so, every single defender would have something to say. Like you've already in the NFL added a 17th game. So if you so clearly care about players' health, then why would you add another game when it's just about money? and you're going to lead to more injuries. So in the postseason, guys like Patrick Mahomes, though he didn't get hurt in the 17th game, maybe are going to be at a greater risk, those superstars, of not being in the marquee games. So the NFL here, I disagree. It's not going to happen. And if you really cared so much about player safety, you maybe make the season shorter. Cut it down to 14 games before you jump up to 18 next season.
I think, and another thing, if you really care about the players' health, you'd get the best equipment because I still don't think that they have the best equipment for these players.
In terms of helmets,
I think in terms of everything, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard is that the helmets aren't the best that they possibly can be.
mm,
I could be wrong on that, but here are two other points that I want to make, and then we can wrap it up, or if you want to respond to them.
mm-hmm.
You said it's bad for the game, and I agree with that. How many times have we seen in the last couple of years defenders have the quarterback wrapped and then just let go because they feel like they're going to get penalized?
mm, good amount.
That's bad for the game, in my opinion, because now these quarterbacks are making these insane plays, but these defenders are looking so stupid because they feel like they're going to get penalized, so they let go. I think of the famous one, the Chiefs Patriots AFC Championship game, where Tom is wrapped up. I forget. I think it was Chris Jones who had him, and he just let go at like the 3 yard line, and Tom was able to walk in, running for the touchdown. He let go because he thought he was going to get called for the flag. That's terrible for the game. That's why I say Mahomes, Allen, all these guys, they wouldn't be doing all of this 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. They wouldn't. I'm sorry. Unless they're built like Brett frickin' Favre, they're
Mm-hmm.
not doing it.
And my
Maybe Josh
guy,
Allen is. Maybe Allen is. But we've also seen Josh Allen get banged up too. This is another thing I want to bring up too.
mm-hmm.
Tripping is illegal in the NFL, right? Not allowed to trip them with your leg. I think you're allowed to put your arm out. Are you? I'm not sure about that. I think that's basically considered an arm tackle, right? If you sweep the legs with the arm, you're allowed to do that. Why is tripping not allowed with the leg? What's the difference between me putting my arm out and sweeping your legs and me putting my legs out and sweeping your legs? What's the difference? Is there a difference? I'm going to be honest. A trip is a trip, whether you use your arm or your leg. So again, and I'm pretty sure arm tackling is allowed. So I'm guessing sweeping the legs is allowed.
I do think tripping is a little more dangerous with the leg. Getting your leg in the piles, weight falling on it. So that I understand. But I see where you're coming from. My guy Kenny Pickett, who was wearing a concussion-specific helmet this last year, bro, I think it was in the AFC Championship game. He makes an insane play, gets out of the pocket. He's running down the field, he does a fake slide, and I loved it. It was sick. But for a defender, a quarterback gets 25 feet into space, and you're not going to hit him because you don't want,
Yep.
an unnecessary roughness.
15
But then he
yards.
hits you with a fake slide. It's like, what the hell? And a
Yep.
lot of people went crazy about that too. I see where you're coming from, and I do agree. The NFL can't take it too far swinging the pendulum. Right now, it's at the right note. You can't swing it further. If anything, you want to swing it back toward the middle. Because
Yeah, I think the
the skills
defenders.
right now are tipped like this.
Yeah.
If we take away this new add this new rule, and I'm gonna be falling. You're not gonna see me in the frame. So
I do. I think the defenders need to be thrown a bone, whether that is in terms of pass coverage or maybe you give them 10 yards of leverage instead of 5, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you allow more hand fighting. Um, I just think the defenders need to be thrown a bone here. I really do. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think the defenders need to be thrown something. Give them something in their favor. 74.